card tutorial. And it is officially September, so happy welcome to the Burr months, right? And today's card is gonna go right with that because we have an awesome autumn card to share with you today. So let's get started. Okay, so here is our new holiday mini catalog. Well, that's what I call it because it's got all the fun holiday inside. And so if you need one of these, you can go to my blog at stampinqueenbee.com, and in the right-hand side of the blog homepage, there is a request a catalog button. You can click that and fill out your info. And if you choose me to be your demonstrator, you'd like me to be your demonstrator, I would love to send you one of these. So today's card, I'll show you here in a second, but we're going to feature this new autumn. Isn't this beautiful? So this is page 39 and 40, this Amber Autumn stamp set. Here it is in real life, and it's coordinating dies. Now I have to tell you, I bought this set because of these beautiful dies. They are just exquisite. I can't wait to show you what I've done with them. Here is today's card. Always love to show you that right away. We've got a new fun embossing folder we're going to use. We're going to make this fun chair rail type card, right? And then look inside. Look at this beautiful die. Oh, I can't wait to show you how easy peasy this is and how to create today's card. So that is all that we are using. So we're using this stamp set here, the Amber Autumn with its coordinating dies. We're going to use the designer series paper that's also listed on page 40, and the awesome embellishments and the awesome foil paper that's all on page 40. So the other thing that we're going to be using today is in our online exclusives. So this is our online exclusive file, and there is a new punch called Sign Design. I love it. It's great for sentiments. Here it is in real life, right? And we're going to use that today for part of the inside of our card. So I just wanted to show you where all that stuff was located in case you wanted to follow along. Okay, so let's get started with some stamping. So I've got a piece of crumb cake here, and early espresso ink is what we'll be using. So I'm going to open that up, and we are going to stamp this super cute pumpkin image. It's got a squash and some pumpkin, totally autumn-ish, right, with the corn. We're just going to ink this up. So this is red rubber, but when I ink my stamps, I always like to tap, tap, tap. So this gives us just like ink that's all over, right? It just makes sure that it's all on there. And then we're gonna stamp this down, and I'm gonna go ahead and hold that block, that stamp. I'm gonna hold it to the paper and leave it there for a second because I want all that ink to transfer to my cardstock. And then I'm gonna pull straight up, and you can see my beautiful image. Now, I'm gonna show you how to stamp the wrong way for a second because I really want to show you what not to do, right? Remember that show, What Not to Wear? It was so popular. Maybe I should do a series, what not to do, right? So if I was to rock my stamp, you see I'm moving it kind of back and forth and rocking it, and then lift it up real quick. Do you see the difference in that image? And so when we stamp it down and leave it right where it's at and then pull straight up, nothing smudges or smears like it did there, right? You see we've got that kind of shadow halo from the red rubber. All of my image is all mushed. Yuck, right? I mean, we could probably salvage that, but look at how crisp the difference is, right? So I just wanted to give you that little tip today. And then what we would do is we would take this die here. So these are our dies that go with the Amber Autumn. We would take this die, and I like to keep mine on a magnet sheet. It just makes it easier. But we would take this, put this over our image, run it through our big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And with the magic of video today, I already did that for us. So we had it die cut. So we have that done. Then I've got a piece of basic white here, And I'm gonna take my punch, that punch I told you I really love, Sign Design. We're just gonna punch out of basic white. You see that shape. So this is a great shape. It's a great basic that we can use for sentiments or really anything, right? Now, most of the stamps in the Sign Design match using the punch this way. But we are going to turn it upside down today, and we're gonna use it the opposite way because I want this straight edge to line up with the inside of my card. So I'm gonna use that same early espresso with my autumn wishes here. We're just gonna ink this up. I like to check the back and just make sure that it's all inked. We're gonna stamp this down, hold it, just like I showed you before, and lift. And then we've got our autumn wishes. I love that sentiment, right? Because that could be used in September, October, November. It could go for all of them. So I love that. I like a multi-use stamp, right? All right, now we've got our base, our card base. I've got my bone folder here. It's already scored. This is just your standard card base. And if you need any of the measurements or the full supply list, I'm just burnishing this down. But if you need the measurements or the supply list, I will email that out. If you're part of my Buzz Bulletin, which is my free email newsletter that I send out every single week, if you are part of that, it's totally free. You can join. There is a pop-up when you go on my blog that you can sign up for that for free, and I send a free PDF tutorial each week that has the full supply list, all the measurements, and all the step-by-steps, along with a picture of today's card. And if you just can't live without all the parts and pieces, you can get a freebie from me every single week with your $50 or more order in my online store. And I will give you all the pre-cut pieces that we're using today if you order this week from now until the following Wednesday. And you will get that from me as a little freebie. Okay, so let's get back to card making. Okay, we've got our crumb cake card base here. And then I am using that designer series paper. So let me show it to you real quick. This is that autumn toile paper. And look how pretty this is. It is just very rich in fall, but you could use this for, you know, masculine cards, right? Hunting or scrapbooking it would go great with. And I like this pack because you actually get 3 of each design. Most of our paper packs you get 2 of each design, and this one you get 3. So I love these rich fall colors that are in this paper. So I wanted to show you that. So we're going to be using some of this paper here. So I have a couple of pre-cut pieces. We've got our card base. We've got a piece of basic white that we're going to layer with. And we've got 2 of those beautiful designer series paper that I already cut for us. So let me grab my liquid glue, and we're just going to take these 2 DSPs that I cut. We're going to put the larger one on the top, and we're just going to center this left to right. We just have that equal border. And then we're going to kind of make a chair rail here, right? You know in your houses where you have that little, they call it a chair rail on the wall. And so that's kind of the thought behind this. So we've got the 2 different pieces, right? Like you might have the white on the bottom on your wall with the color on top. So we're kind of doing that same thing with 2 of those designer series paper. And then we've got that beautiful white border around that. So before we attach this to our card, I'm actually going to bring in some linen thread. We have a new 2-pack of linen thread, and it's got early espresso and old olive linen thread. So if you love linen thread and you love some color to your linen thread, these are gorgeous. I had to have them. So we're going to use the early espresso today, and we're going to take this, and along that chair rail where those 2 designer series papers meet, we are going to wrap our linen thread around it like 3 or 4 times. So we just want to kind of create that border in the middle. There we go. And now I'm just going to leave that attached, and I'm going to take my two ends here. I like to wrap one underneath and then tie it in a knot and then make my bow. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm just going to tie a knot. To me, that just kind of secures it. And then I can bring in my paper snips that I use for ribbon and take that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn this upside down. When you tie your bow upside down, I don't know, it just looks better for me. Do you like to tie your bows upside down? Everything seems to fall into place a little better when I do that, right? And then I just adjust my loops there. And this one that's a little bit longer, I'm just going to take that and trim that excess off. So now we have our kind of chair rail, that kind of middle where the two DSPs meet. Isn't that lovely? And then of course it's on the back. So now we're just going to take our liquid glue. We're just going to add a bunch to the back there. We want this really secure because of that thread, right? So now we're just going to add this right to the front of our card. I thought, oh no, is it open the right way? That's what I was checking. Do you ever do that? Attach everything and oh no, it's all upside down. Good thing it's just paper, right? I have done that so many times. Okay, so we've got that attached. And then I took a piece of our two-tone cardstock, in Cajun Craze. Such a great fall color, the Cajun Craze. So you'll see one side is light and one is dark. And I actually ran that through a brand new embossing folder, Gathering Leaves. It's one of our new big embossing folders. And you can see it's going to put all those cute fall leaves all across your paper when you run that through your embossing machine. And so I did that, and you can see those little leaves? So cute. But we're going to take this a step further. And I am actually going to grab a sanding block. So this is just a nail buffer, right, that you could use in your craft room. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to run this right across the top of this embossing. And right now I'm just doing the middle because I really want you to see. So you can go back and forth, just like you're buffing your nails, right? And do you see? So our two-tone cardstock is actually something called white core. So it's got color on the top, color on the bottom, but in the middle, in the core of the paper, it's white. So when you sand it like this, it's actually going to show through. See, our little sanding bits have come off. And how beautiful. Now you really see the detail in that design. So let me just wipe off our little extra sanding bits there. And now, because it's white core, one of my favorite things to do with white core paper is to tear it, because it gives it that rugged, especially in the fall, right? It gives us this rugged, beautiful edge. And so I'm tearing it towards me. So if you see, I'm using my two thumbs to kind of guide me. So I'm moving my left thumb down as my right thumb is going down the paper, right? So I'm just tearing off kind of that edge, the right edge. And then with my fingers or with your scissors or a bone folder, I'm just gonna kind of push on the edge here. You could use your nail too. You could even use that filer, that nail buffer. And I'm just kind of roughing it up just even a little bit more. Just want to give it that rugged touch. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Dimensionals here. And I'm going to line this up so I know I'm going to put this right here on the left side. But I don't want to put dimensionals where this linen thread is. So I'm just going to flip this over. And I'm going to put dimensionals everywhere but kind of where that linen thread would line up, right? So I'm just going to kind of leave a space there. And let's do one more here in that corner. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to remove the backing here of each of these. Are you loving the fall themed cards? Do you send fall themed cards? I do. I love to send monthly cards. So I will send probably an autumn card in September. We've got, of course, Halloween, trick or treat, or even just another fall card for October. And then, of course, a grateful card for Thanksgiving in November. And then we move with our Christmas, right? Or holiday. So there you go. We've got our kind of distressed, rugged, embossed. We've got all that texture. So beautiful. Okay, so then let's bring back in our example. And so we want to add our image, and then I've got some die cuts. So I die cut from Cajun Craze and this new, do you see that? This new foil paper. So let me show you what that looks like. This is our earthen tone metallic paper. Look at how beautiful that is. It really shines, right? It's kind of bronzy. They're actually calling it just the color brown, but it's got this bronzy metallic, beautiful to it. So I actually cut with our die. There is this extra die that die cuts that leaf. And so I actually cut 2 of each of the metallic and 2 of Cajun Craze from those papers. So we'll use those. We've got our sentiment, we've got our inside basic white, and our pumpkin so far. So let's open the inside. Let's work on that. So we're going to take our basic white layer, and I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the inside of my card. And then remember I told you we used that punch kind of upside down? That's because I am going to line it up with the top of my inside layer. So I want to add my leaves first. So I know this is going to go there. So I'm going to take one of each of those leaves, and I'm going to put that right underneath my sentiment there. So I'll just move that to the side. And then I'm just going to take a little dot kind of in those bigger chunks, and we'll set that down. And the same thing with our Cajun Craze. You could use your adhesive sheets as well, but a couple dots of glue works just perfect. And then since this is on the inside, we're just going to add our liquid glue, not a dimensional, right? We don't want it to thicken up on the inside. So there you go. Our sentiment autumn wishes right there on the inside of our card. Now on this left side, I wanted to really showcase that beautiful die. So I die cut this, and the die is perfect for a regular size layer. So a 4 1/4, no, that's not right, 4 by 5 1/4 piece of paper, because this die, let me grab it, it doesn't cut the outside edge. It only cuts these inner edging pieces, right? So you want your paper that you're using to already be the size that you want. So this is just a standard layer, that 4 by 5 1/4. And isn't it just beautiful on the inside? I just think it showcases so well. So the same thing with this one, all I did was use, this is a piece of that DSP, and the same DSP that we used on the front of the card, and I just am putting glue around that border, just lightly, that whole border. And then we're just going to set this down right on that inside. I'm kind of loving decorating the left inside of our cards, kind of a forgotten piece that we could decorate, right? So we just center that right on there, and the inside of our card is done. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so then last but not least, we're going to do the front of our card. So I just took my dimensionals, and I want these to be just kind of on this side of my pumpkin here. So I'm going to put my dimensionals just on the back of that side. So I'm going to flip this over, and they'll go right there. Kind of 3 of them worked good for me. And that way I can tuck my leaves in after I get this attached. I can kind of slide one here and one over here. So we're just gonna kind of center that where we want it. Beautiful. And then we'll take our 2 leaves and just kind of slide them in. So same like I did on the ones on the inside. We're just gonna add those kind of tucked in behind our pumpkin there. And then the same thing on our other side. So a couple of dots of glue. A dot is a lot, right? So just a little is needed. And we'll just tuck this one in, set that down. Now, of course, every card needs some bling, right? Every card needs some bling. So I've got these new streak dots. Don't they just look like, I don't know, they look like wood or something to me. They're so beautiful. And I've got my Take Your Pick tool. It's what I love to use for embellishments because they're just so hard to pick up with your fingers, right? So I'm going to put 2 on this top right, and I'm going to put 1 kind of right underneath that chair rail area, right kind of by my bow. And there you have it, a beautiful autumn card. I kind of love doing the sentiment on the inside, right? And giving them just this beautiful image on the front of our card. So let me open that up so you can see the outside and the inside. Which is your favorite? Do you love the outside? Do you love to decorate your inside? Do you love to do it all like I do? I mean, who can choose just one? Who can choose just one way to decorate our cards, right? We need to use all sides of that paper and make it just beautiful, I think, right? So die cuts and decorations everywhere on the card, I think is the best idea. So happy autumn. I hope you loved today's card. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with your friends. Thank you for subscribing to my Buzz Bulletin. That's my free email newsletter. I love sending that to each of you. And I love hearing from you. I love when you comment on my videos or send me private emails and share your cards with me. It's lovely and the highlight of all that I do for sure. So I'll see you guys next week.